Hi, I'm Jerri Hyde, Youth Services Librarian at the Ames Public Library. Welcome to Well Read, a program about a little bit of this and a little bit of that at your Ames Public Library. Libraries were formed hundreds and hundreds of years ago to gather information through books and to offer that information to those who needed access to that, no matter what social class they were, no matter what age they were. And that philosophy continues on to today. Our today is more books and more technology that is added to that information, but that equal access is still the philosophy of public libraries. And that is how we came about to this program that we are sharing today, is that we are reflecting what our community has asked us, and it's a very important topic. October happens to be Let's Talk About It month, and I have two experts of our Let's Talk month and who are going to tell us a little bit about themselves and then tell us about what Let's Talk About is in October. So Kaylee and Ashley, who would like to start?
I can start.
All right.
My name is Kaylee Hoyle. I have worked at Youth and Shelter Services for just a year now. And basically my title is Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention Specialist. So we work to educate and counsel youth of all ages. Before that, I received a Bachelor's of Nursing from Queen Margaret University in Scotland.
Which is very awesome. When I saw that, it was like, wow, she looked like just any normal person. So what took you over to Scotland?
Well, originally I started at Iowa State. And then I studied abroad because I had traveled as a kid, and I knew I wanted to go back to the UK at some point. So I did a semester over there, and I just loved it so much that I went back. Yeah,
I'm glad that you came back.
Yeah, absolutely. My mom is too.
I'm sure she is.
And then once I graduated with nursing, I moved down to London for a couple of years, and from there I worked in a maternity ward, and the ward I worked in was more high dependent care, so mothers who were sick or had a lot of troubles through their pregnancy. And one of those things that we worked with was HIV, and we were the HIV center of London. And so from that stemmed a keen interest in HIV and STI prevention. So kind of took me to where I am today.
That's wonderful, and we're lucky to have you here in Ames as well. So.
Yes, Kaylee's story is a little more exciting than mine.
But we all have exciting stories.
Absolutely.
Just because we live them, that we don't think they're as exciting as they are. So I know you have a wonderful background as well, too.
So I am Ashley Landesky, and I have worked with Youth and Shelter Services for 2 years now as an adolescent pregnancy prevention specialist, the same as Kaylee. And we do prevention work for pregnancy, STIs, and HIV, as well as educate about healthy relationships and communication skills. Prior to that, I graduated from Iowa State University with a bachelor's in psychology, and so I just really have a passion for helping in education and prevention for youth.
And that's pretty much how come you got to youth services and shelter services. Can you kind of explain a little bit about what YSS is for our viewers?
Yep. So YSS is Youth and Shelter Services. We are based in Ames. However, they provide services throughout the whole of Iowa. And basically the main goals, or one of the main goals of YSS, is to provide youth with access to guidance, support, and access to trusting adults. Ashley and I both work on the prevention side, so we do more of the education and the counseling, and so we work in schools, facilities, and within the community just to provide education for youth and anybody who asks for it.
And the program that we're doing is going a little bit farther than just in fact, we're not inviting any of the youth until our last program with the teens, but the first couple Friday evenings that we're going to have the programs, it's all about the parents and that communication to have, and that relationship, a healthy relationship there as well with mother-child, father-child, grandparents, children.
Absolutely.
All those relationships revolving around that sexual education. And so October has been assigned as the Let's Talk month, but I know that it has a little bit of history too. So
Absolutely. So Let's Talk Month is basically, like you said, just getting parents to start engaging in those conversations with their kids, not only one time, but as they grow, because it seems to be more effective that way to keep open lines of communication. The Let's Talk Month is celebrated every October, just as kind of an annual reminder that this needs to be ongoing rather than just that one-time sit-down talk. And it is started by Advocates for Youth, which is a youth education agency that's a national agency here. Actually started in Charlotte, and it's been going for a little over 30 years. So it's been going on for quite a while.
And in that time, with that further education and that further talking, I saw that in some of your statistics and stuff, not only here in Iowa, but also nationally, that the statistics of teenage pregnancy has improved.
Yeah, just from May 2013, the CDC released a report that said from 2007 to 2011, the pregnancy rates in Iowa have dropped by 23% and by 25% nationally. So that's a huge statistic, and things attributed to that change and that decrease is more access to education and using more effective contraceptive methods.
And having that awareness, I think
absolutely, it
that
comes with that
level
education, and absolutely.
And I know you guys are the education specialists
Yes.
here. I'm talking to the choir here. So, but I think when you approached me to offer this in October, I know we started out with a smaller scale of a program, and we've really made it into a program and a really awareness month that I'm very proud of, that the library is a part of it. But I know in that conversation we've had, I've thought about the conversation when I was young that my mother and I had, which was one time, and then as a mother, what kind of conversations that, thinking back about kind of conversations I had with my daughter and son, and then now I have 3 very lovely granddaughters that are 9 and younger, and I keep thinking about now. So what does a grandma do? In this conversation, because we have had, I have had questions already, and it's and we're exposed to all of that in our commercials, and as far as I'm concerned, some inappropriate commercials, and the way we are, publicizing our human sexuality is not necessarily always a positive thing.
Yeah.
So I think the conversations are very important, but I also know in my thought process of how uncomfortable I felt as a daughter with my mother, and also as a mother with my daughter, and the panic I have sometimes with my granddaughters when they're asking me, oh no, yes, let me think about that. What do you think Mom and Dad will say about that?
Yeah.
So, these talks that we're going to have with the parents are more to give us some tools. Can you talk about what those tools are that you possibly will be sharing with us?
Absolutely. So as we just previously stated, it's really important to have many conversations rather than just that one to reduce the pressure. I mean, that's a lot of pressure on parents and kids. If you have that open line of communication as the child grows, it becomes something normal, something very comfortable, just like any other subject that you'd talk about that comes up, and you answer it in the best way you know how, and you move on from there. And that really stops a lot of that awkwardness that can happen on both ends, because we hear it from the youth as well as from the parents. So the programs that we came up with together, and I think all of us should be very proud because they are very great programs with a lot of good content. The first 2, like you said, are for parents, and those will be geared. The first one will be parents of young children, so anywhere from 9 and under, and we're basically going to give them conversation starters. We want to address everything age appropriately and then at the right time. Those are the 2 keys. So we'll provide that information, what's age appropriate, and then what kind of conversations can we have, and when should we initiate those conversations with the kids to reduce that pressure and the awkwardness. And then the second one will be for parents of adolescents. So that will just go into puberty, human growth and development, in those aspects, as well as how do we address those tough sexual health questions, and how can we start conversations with our kids and get that ball rolling so they know that we are open and we're ready to have those conversations. Because like you said, if they don't come to the parents, unfortunately they're going to be bombarded with it everywhere else in our society. So as parents, we're also incorporating morals and values into those conversations, so each family can tailor it to what works for them. And that makes it a lot more comfortable as well. If it's tailored around what works for the family, what fits, as long as it has accurate information in it as well, then that will help, I think, all of these conversations.
When I was doing some of the research on it, I get a regular email newsletter type of thing about fathers, specifically directed at fathers, and I imagine as in preparation of that Let's Talk Month, they are also talking about how you can talk to your child about sex, and it gave the example of putting it in your own world, and it talked about and many people like NASCAR racing, and so they talked about well, let's talk about the age of the children and compare them to the races. So like when you're a little kid, you're having a short race. And so you don't need to talk a very long time about whatever. It's more about the potty training and the vocabulary that and please add.
No, and they just want that quick information. They ask a question and you just have to be as simple as possible. Yep. So
it's more like, they called it a short race, but to me it more, it's a drag strip. We're off and we're gone. We've got that answer. And then as the years progress, the race gets longer and longer. And I thought that the idea behind that was very appropriate because it made, the parent is maybe uncomfortable as well, but to put it in something that they're secure in. So maybe it isn't racing, maybe it's a football pass, or and to put that together in that way, and so the conversation that you have within your own family is tailored to how your comfort level is.
Absolutely.
But the important part is that you have that continual conversation.
Yeah, and it's not so as much like just making sure that you sit down with them and having that, because when you take somebody to sit them down and have a conversation, that can that can be intimidating. And so doing that is great, but also using teachable moments as well. So if you see a movie together and there's an issue that arises, or if they ask a question, just try to be upfront about it and talk at those teachable moments as well, because that helps that lifelong conversation. Mm-hmm.
And the other on the Let's Talk page, it also gave some positive conversation starters and I thought that was very the slammers. I thought that was very interesting too, because how we react to that first question that when they open up and ask that is also a telling tale for that child to with the last time I said something, mom and go so trying to stay calm and confident in what you want to share.
Yeah, and if you don't know the answer to the question, be honest. You don't have to know everything as a parent. So saying honestly, I don't know, but I will find out for you. Let's find out together. Let's do this together. Then I think your child is going to be more, okay, well, mom didn't know or dad didn't know. Let's
go to the library and find some materials. And we have a parenting shelf that specifically deals with topics in that way, but we also have a more expanded shelf, in the nonfiction and the adult nonfiction. But we also have materials for children too. So to put it in the child's age group and conversation to help parents start too. But we'll talk about all that. Let's talk about programs that we're going to have. And I found it very interesting too that you kind of pulled in that bullying part in some of our conversations. And can either one of you kind of share how you think bullying also, it is a very important part for that conversation to have with parent and child, but tell me why that's important in this conversation as well.
Well, the statistic from Eyes Open Aya that we got, when they interviewed 6th, 8th, and 11th graders, 54% had said that they had been bullied at least one or more times throughout their adolescence. And I think that's a huge number. That's over half of the kids reporting that they have been. And so what Ashley and I try to do, especially with the curriculums that we use, is we work a lot on healthy relationships. How do you recognize a healthy relationship? What might not be a healthy relationship? We also talk about communication skills. So if somebody is bullying you or pressuring you to do something that you don't want to do, how can you step out of that situation? And I think that's a really important discussion. I think our title can be somewhat scary sometimes, but we do a lot more than just talking about pregnancy prevention and STI prevention. It's how you work in your relationships and how you can work through relationships. And bullying is a huge issue right now, so we really do try to work with that as well.
Well, and again, it's all of that communication and that openness, and that comfort level of talking, and that's what I know we are going to offer some of those things at these programs that we're having in October for our parents to talk. And then we purposely have scheduled it so the last one is for teens. So if you have an older teen or not 9-year-old and older, that they can come to the teen one and kind of talk through those things and help give them some language as well. Like we've all talked about, it's on both sides. It's not a one-sided conversation. We all should be talking about it. And who better than the parent, to instill those values and the morals that they would like to see in their family. And but we all have to have tools to help, and that's what these programs are all about, is offering those tools for you as a parent, for you as a grandparent, to talk with your child and to see and find some of the resources that you have in your community, whether they're people or they're books on the shelves or websites out on the internet that you can find and use. But the important part is that conversation to keep that openness between you and your child. And I agree. I think it's from the time that you start potty training your child and that language that you develop is a very important conversation. So parents of all ages, no matter what age your child is, should take the time in October to talk, whether or not you come to the library for the program or you just take that conversation. But again, remember that it isn't just a one-time conversation. It's all year long. And I like your emphasis on let's just not sit down and talk. Okay, we're going to have because again, that kind of reminds me of what happened. Okay, we're going to sit down now, and here we are, and here's the book.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, okay. And then the rest is history. But so I would love to invite everyone who would like to, whether or not you have children or you don't have children. It is a library program, so it's open to the public. We're having it here after hours a couple Fridays in October. So please come and join us, and do know that we have an open invitation from YSS, from these wonderful educators here, to do some ongoing programs. So you will be seeing them a lot. So please come and join us or give us a call, and we will be happy to show you some of our materials and educate you as well. So, or confirm the education you already have.
Yes.
And help you have part of that conversation and give you some pointers. So, and you can maybe give us some pointers or the other parents that will be there. So thank you very much, and for coming today, and thank you, viewers, to be a part of our library, to be part of our community, and to help us at the library continue that philosophy of empowering others to be able to access that information and understand our world around us, no matter what age, no matter what social class you are. But importantly, in my case, with the children are my primary concern, and their education, their well-being as being good community members. So please come and join us. Until next time, thank you.